Hi everyone, this is Mike Brennan here at the National Hurricane Center. It's just before 11 a.m. Eastern Time now on Thursday, October 10th, coming on with the latest this morning on Hurricane Milton, still bringing impacts to Florida and portions of the southeastern United States coast. You can see here on the satellite imagery, the center of Milton now pulling away from Florida, centered about 135 miles to the east-northeast of Cape Canaveral, moving off to the northeast-northeast now at 20 miles per hour. But we still have on the backside of Milton, strong winds, heavy rainfall, and storm surge still affecting portions of the east coast of Florida, with tropical storm conditions and storm surge affecting portions of the Georgia coast and even some strong winds up into portions of the South Carolina coast. So let's take a look at what's going on this morning. You can see Milton here. You can see the large size of the tropical storm force wind field extending out at least 200 to 300 miles away from the center of the storm. We still have, and we'll start here with the storm surge warning that's in effect along the coast of Florida from Sebastian Inlet northward all the way up to Altamaha Sound, Georgia, including Brunswick, Georgia, Jacksonville, St. Augustine, Palm Coast, Daytona Beach, all the way down to Cape Canaveral and even down to Palm Bay. Life-threatening inundation still occurring along portions of the east coast here, including the St. Johns River through Jacksonville all the way down into interior portions of northeast Florida. In terms of the peak surge values we can expect along the immediate coast here, expecting 3 to 5 feet of inundation above ground level from the Flagler-Volusia County line up to Altamaha Sound, Georgia, 2 to 4 feet possible along portions of the St. Johns River. And these water levels are actually going to come up here in the next few hours with the approach of the next high tide. Now on the wind side, we still have a tropical storm warning in effect. Remember, let's look at the size of the wind field of Milton. Still very large. Tropical storm warning in effect from Edisto Beach, South Carolina, southward through Savannah, Jacksonville, Daytona Beach, all the way down to Sebastian Inlet. These tropical storm conditions are going to be most likely in gusts, and these winds will gradually subside over the next few hours. I should also note we have tropical storm warnings in effect for the extreme northwestern Bahamas, as we are seeing some tropical storm conditions there as well. Now on the rainfall side of things, we are starting to see the last few bands of showers pull away from the Florida East Coast. Still some showers here along the coast from near Jacksonville down through Palm Bay, down through the Cape Canaveral area. But for the most part, the heavy rainfall with Milton is now pulling away. So I want to turn now to the focus on post-storm safety. We've got many areas that saw significant and dangerous impacts from Milton, from the Florida West Coast, all the way from Fort Myers up through the Tampa Bay region, through the interior portions of the Central Florida Peninsula, across the I-4 corridor to Orlando, Daytona Beach. We just talked about the ongoing conditions in eastern Florida, and we also had areas that saw tornado damage in south central and southeastern Florida yesterday. So if you've evacuated from some of these areas, please don't return back until you've been told it's safe to do so by local officials. We have trees down, power lines down, flooded roadways, flooded streets. It may not be safe to be in certain areas. There can be bacteria in the water, other chemicals in the water. So again, remain vigilant. Hazards will remain. Power lines down, live wires. It's going to be warm. It's still Florida, even though we're not going to be in the 90s. We're going to be in the 80s. People are not going to have air conditioning. It's widespread power outages, so you want to be safe outside. Don't push yourself. Check on your neighbors. This is a stressful situation. You want to make sure that everybody makes it through the next few days safely. A big reminder when it comes to generators. Use them safely. Make sure you vent them at least 20 feet from your home. Vent them safely away from your windows and doors. Place your generator far enough away so that you don't get carbon monoxide into your home, which is a colorless, odorless gas. You're not going to know it's there, and it can kill you and everyone in your home if it's not used properly. So we know we have millions of customers without power. People are going to be running generators. Make sure you do that safely. Don't become a post-storm statistic. Then finally, when you're thinking about cleaning up, you're using those power tools, those chainsaws, getting up on your roof, cleaning up. Again, be careful with that equipment. Operate them in a safe way and a safe distance from bystanders. Avoid contact with fallen power lines. Again, don't push yourself. We have a lot of people succumb to cardiac arrest and other cardiovascular incidents after the storm. And again, stay safe in the heat, stay hydrated, and stay in air conditioning and get out of the sun where you can. So let's wrap up here with the final key messages for Milton this morning. We still have a storm surge warning in effect for portions of the Florida and Georgia coastline, where we have a storm surge inundation will continue in these areas through this afternoon. We have tropical storm conditions continuing across portions of the southeast U.S. coast through the next few hours, and also in the northwestern Bahamas. In the wake of the heavy rainfall flooding from Milton, we still have considerable urban flooding lingering through this afternoon throughout portions of east central Florida, and we're going to have ongoing and continuing moderate to major river flooding forecast for the next several days throughout Central Florida. And then finally, please use caution. Make safety your primary concern in the next few days after the storm. Deadly hazards remain, including downed power lines, flooded roads. Operate your generators safely, and if you're cleaning up damage, be careful when you're using tools and power equipment, and be sure to drink plenty of water and avoid heat exhaustion. So this is going to be our final live stream on Milton from here at the Hurricane Center. You can continue to come back here to Hurricanes.gov for updates on the storm and find information from your local National Weather Service office at weather.gov. Thank you for joining us. Please be safe. I'm Mike Brennan at the National Hurricane Center.